UAO students. Hey, it's Unknown here, and welcome to the third UAO OVA. This will be a quick conversation that Dice and I have been having surrounding Jujutsu Kaisen and where it's heading. Now, don't worry, this is spoiler free. However, we will be briefly touching on the anime's trajectory. The title of this OVA is Jujutsu Kaisen Anime Better Than the Manga. So, we've been basically saying amongst ourselves that Jujutsu Kaisen's manga, which as of this recording is on chapter 148, has currently taken a dip in its story and its storytelling. But a lot of the anime fans won't know this until, well, who knows? A couple of years maybe, once the section gets animated. And sure, you can and will say, but it could only be that section and it could pick up. Absolutely. It's just like I said earlier. It's even in its storytelling. Everything essentially feels rushed. And if it continues like this, then, well, who knows? Anyway, Dice, what do you got to say about this?
A big point for made there is like the manga quality has definitely dipped after a specific arc. Everyone in our community right now knows what arc is popping right now, or what arc has popped off in Jujutsu Kaisen. The Shibuya incident arc.
Yeah.
That's the name of the arc. Yeah, everyone knows that arc is popping, but boy, does it feel like it dips after that arc. Me and Unknown Sensei have had many conversations about this. It's like the manga quality in terms of its drawing. Like he had points about its drawing Unknown, and it feels like they're just rough sketches.
Yeah.
And they put out there, like they just put out there. They still look good because obviously I can't draw. I can't judge the mangaka.
100%.
But the previous arc and previous drawings that we've seen come out from the manga were class A. I was sending loads of screenshots to Unknown Sensei of manga panels that I loved. Do you get? And I feel right now at this moment in time, I don't know what's going on with the production, but definitely needs some work. And there was another point I made to you earlier, Unknown Sensei, and it was about how where we're at the manga, it's like, yeah, we're saying it's dipped, but Jujutsu Kaisen as a whole has technically grown. Like it's blown the anime community away, like in terms of animation, in terms of its storytelling. And I feel it's like, do you think once we reach the point we're at the manga, do you believe the anime will dip in the same way? Because it's a big thing nowadays whereby everything is seasonal and it's not weekly. For example, the pillars of back in the day were Naruto, Dragon Ball, One Piece, Bleach. They were always coming out weekly. There was no such thing as like a season 1 for Naruto or season 2 for One Piece. Yes, there was the occasional break, but they were usually bank holidays or, you know, like cultural breaks that they will have back in Japan and stuff. So yeah, the question I'm posing is, do you believe that because now we wait seasonally, Jujutsu Kaisen and Demon Slayer, let's say, have been put in a position where they've called the best, but that's based off of one season. Whereas if you're reading a manga, you can see dips and issues with either show.
Yes. Well, as you said, since it's like seasonal, by the time the section that we're on in the manga, which is like what, chapter 148, by the time that gets animated, it's Jujutsu is already going to be considered one of the best because, like I said, who knows how long it will take to get to this point in the anime, but by the time it does, you would have already had the Shibuya arc animated, and it would have already been running for like, I'm assuming like maybe like 3 seasons, and it would have already been on a high. Everyone would already be like, it's amazing, and it would only probably be looked at as just like, I don't know, maybe some sort of a temporary dip because they don't know where it's going. I mean, hell, we still don't even know where it's going. It could pick up in the manga, who knows? But it doesn't feel like it. Honestly, it doesn't feel like it will because it feels really rushed. And
Definitely the rush, boy.
And then by the time that happens, you're already gonna have a new anime that comes along that is making waves, and Jujutsu would already be cemented as one of the best, despite the fact that people don't know that it's gonna dip for who knows how long. So,
like holding on to that issue with Bleach. Obviously, I have not watched Bleach, but everyone that has watched Bleach has told me that there's a point where it dipped in the anime.
Yeah.
And of course, everyone that's watched it, that was when it was coming out weekly. So they could tell you, yeah, it dipped at this point weekly, and then that's when a lot of viewership or a lot of people that are watching it just fell off of the show.
Yeah.
You get some people stuck around, some people didn't. And I feel with Jiu-Jitsu and fucking Demon Slayer, it's going to do the same thing. It's like where it reaches that point where it dips. Oh, well, actually, I think it wouldn't do the same thing because when it reaches that point where it dips, because everyone's been sitting on edge waiting for the new season to come out, because that point where it dips could probably be its own season. Let's be real. And everyone waiting for it because they will be so hyped over Jiu-Jitsu coming back as a seasonal thing. I think they wouldn't bat an eye that it dips. They'll probably say it's a bad season, but they'll just look at it like, okay, I'm gonna still follow it, watch along. Whereby if it was coming out weekly, I think a lot of people would just be like, nah, I'm good with Jiu-Jitsu right now. I'm taking a pause from the show because it's dipped this poorly. Like I think it's dipped drastically from first chapter to where it's now. It's one of the biggest dips I feel that I've seen recently in, let's say, the anime/manga world. Yeah. I'm still new to reading manga, so I can't speak on that. But in anime world, where something's dipped, it's been like maybe we would say 1 or 2 episodes. But with this, it's been a few chapters, and I feel like that's the scary bit. Whereby when it gets animated, that will be maybe 3 or 4 episodes. Yeah. And in this climate where people are fickle with attention, I don't see it. Like right now, everyone's gonna put it as the best, but I couldn't call it the best right now. It's even questioning the point we made before about like our new big 3, whereby we had like Jiu-Jitsu there, My Hero.
It was like Demon
Slayer. For me, and Demon Slayer being there. For me, it's like I'm questioning that. Because even though Demon Slayer as well, like that's under fire for me as well, because everyone's calling it best. It's getting all these sales and everything, but that's based off of 1 season. We haven't seen the whole thing. You don't even know if you like the whole package. But you can't say that about the Pillars, because you've watched the whole of Naruto. Yeah. You've watched 900 plus episodes of One Piece. And you've watched the whole of Dragon Ball. And I feel like they have cemented themselves as, yo, that is the best. Because you've seen the whole product. But with Jiu-Jitsu and My Hero and Demon Slayer, you're like, ooh. Like, I've sat back now and like, oh, I've been calling these like the best. But they, as a whole package, they ain't done yet. And that could be a big problem in the future with people calling things the best even though they're not done yet.
Yeah, it's true. It's like they're calling things the best after 1 season. So we can take My Hero out of it for a second because they're in like the 5th season. So they've proven themselves a bit. 100%. They've proven themselves a bit. So we'll allow that for a second. But Demon Slayer, yeah, it's like that's considered the best. Obviously because of the sales. That 100% adds to that. And it's like after just 1 season, if you don't read the manga, it's already considered one of the greatest. And it's like, yeah, it's just after 1 season. All of a sudden it's considered that. And is it that easy to be considered one of the greats based on just 24 episodes or whatever, however many it is? It's like, that's all it takes now. Just have a good 24 episodes of your first season. You don't even have to have a second season. And all of a sudden, you can be considered one of the greats. That's is it not too early to claim that title? It's like, it's true. It's like Demon Slayer is only 1 season out. You have no idea if you're gonna like the rest of it, you know. And with Jiu-Jitsu, it's like hell. That has the same amount. To be honest with you, based on that sort of criteria, yeah. I mean, Jiu-Jitsu could be considered one of the greats now too, considering. But then it's definitely propelled by the sales of, like, for example, like Demon Slayer. It's definitely propelled by the sales. But it's true. It's like 1 season and that's it. How do you know? Because where Jiu-Jitsu is now, it's currently at a dip, and it's like, is the anime better than the manga? And it kind of is, because the anime, the animation is just like on point, MAPPA, and the story that they're currently adapting is good. We're not going to get to a weaker part of the story until a long time. So
I know for a fact Jiu-Jitsu probably isn't coming back next year.
Yeah, probably not.
In 2023.
Yeah,
that's probably when we're going to get the season 2. We already know the arc they're going to get for season 2. We know, me and you know, manga readers know, that's going to be the shit. Especially if it's going to be animated the same way season 1 is. But after that, could we say the same thing? I doubt you can say that season 3, if we're right in the way that it's going to trajectory, if the trajectory is how I'm perceiving it, season 3, I couldn't speak too much for it. Like, I couldn't say that Jiu-Jitsu is the GOAT based on this. I couldn't. Yeah, season 1 is hype. People are calling the Shibuya incident one of the best arcs ever and stuff on YouTube and stuff, but which is questionable.
Yeah,
but
very.
Yeah, which is questionable. But after that, what else? And it's a good saying, like, you're only as good as your last performance.
Yeah,
is that? And for Jiu-Jitsu, we'll see if if it will stand the test of time, innit? I think that's the best way to put it for me. Like,
I just feel like by
when
that
you got
time
people around.
it's already going to be considered one of the greats, and people won't really be questioning its status by that
I do
time.
have an issue with that, man. I do have an issue with that unknown sensei. It's like because you get to sit on everything so long. Like
Yeah,
when did, for example, I not even to trash Demon Slayer right now, innit? But when did Demon Slayer release? It came out like 2019, I'm pretty sure. 2019, 2018. I could be wrong. I'll search that up real quick. But my point is, it came out that time ago, and we haven't got a season two. We've just got season one. We've got a movie for it.
Hmm.
The movie's great. I think the movie's great. But that's all we've got. But yeah, if you ask a lot of people, yes, the number one anime is the best anime. In
yeah.
terms of stats, yes, it is. But in terms of like people putting them in a list, I couldn't see why you could put that as your number one anime when all you've done is sit on it for like 3-4 years. That one season. You haven't sat on the whole story for 3-4 years. I've rewatched some of Naruto. I've reread some of, well, I say reread, I've started reading the manga for some of Naruto. I've rewatched Dragon Ball maybe like 10 plus times. I've rewatched some of One Piece. These are timeless. You get
Yeah.
these have come out and have been out for a long time, and you're able to go back. But everyone's basing it on one season, making things a go. I can't agree. It irks me.
It's also the machine, because it's like, one season and then you have like a year break or whatever, and in that year you have announcements that the second season's coming out, and then you have all this build up for it to
Yeah.
finally hit, and then when it does, there's the machine of every episode, everyone's gonna review it on YouTube and all that stuff, and it's just this machine is different where when it was weekly, you didn't have that build up. You didn't have that break. You didn't have that build up. It was just constant, and it didn't have time to sit.
Yeah, to marinate. I feel
Yeah,
like these get to marinate for so
yeah,
long.
yeah, and then
And
the
then the
hype
people are
gets
like, yeah,
built.
this is the best.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's
Kind of so true now.
as it stands, the anime of Jujutsu Kaisen is better than the manga, because where it is now, it's a huge dip, and it's funny because like we see it, we talk about it. We're like reading up to where it was addictive. Now it's like you even say like you can't even.
Yeah, like I'm gonna let it sit for a bit.
Yeah, you're not
I'm gonna
excited.
let it sit for a bit. I'll probably go back to see the chapters or something when season 2 of the anime is announced, maybe. But I'm gonna let it sit for a bit because, like you said, for me, I'd prefer to just watch the anime right now. Even at the point where at now where I believe it's dipped, I'm hoping the anime can save it. Yeah, I'm hoping that watching an anime, because I'm an anime first person anyway, but watching an anime, I'm hoping I'll watch the anime of this new section that I believe has dipped, and I'm praying that it just makes me be like, I was overreacting, or I actually do like it. But reading it right now, number one, it feels a bit confusing.
Yep.
It feels like we've been left in a weird space. Things have been left untouched. We will see if the anime rectifies that. I'll be surprised. I don't believe it will. You have to go based on the source material, isn't
It's
it?
true. It definitely.
I don't believe it will, but
It-
giving it the benefit of that.
It definitely feels rushed. Like we don't when like currently to our listeners currently where it's at, where Dice and I agree, is it feels rushed. Like it feels like we're reading it. You read the chapters and it feels like we've missed something. Cause we're like, did we miss 2 chapters? Did we miss like 3 chapters? What's going on? Where did this come from? Why is this happening? When did that happen? And it just feels weird. It feels chopped up and it feels sped up, and it doesn't feel earned.
It doesn't feel loved anymore.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? It doesn't
Yeah.
feel loved anymore.
Yeah.
Like everything else felt like a piece of art, like a piece of work that was loved and cherished.
And now
Right
it feels
now,
like,
I can't say it feels loved and cherished.
it's just weird. So when we bring it back to the title, and it's like, is the anime better than the manga? And the anime is definitely better than the manga, because they're currently, it's gonna be a while before they even hit this dip. And the anime is gonna continuously be looking good with that crisp animation from Mappa and the story being great. But where it is in the manga right now, not a fan.
Definitely let us know your opinion. If you're up to date with the manga, let us know what you think.
So, UAO students, that'll be the end of the UAO OVA third episode. Jujutsu Kaisen, the anime better than the manga?